That's the reason why I'm buying a Switch. That
No
game right
way.
there. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
I am so hyped. I said.
What's up, gamers? Nintendo dropped an pretty incredible direct today. And I just wanted to sit down with my buddy Yugi. Yugi, how's it going?
Awesome.
Yeah.
After seeing that direct, I can't hold it.
Yeah, I want to talk about it, man, because there was some surprise announcements in there. And I tell you what, some of these games that showed up today, I've been thinking were going to show up a long time ago, and they never did. And so, and then we got some new things that I think went really, really well, and some things that I'm like, maybe we'll see. So I just want to kind of go through the list with you and see what your thoughts are, and share some of my own. So, they opened up with the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, and I don't think that was surprising in any way. Like, I think that we all knew that DLC was coming to that game, but I think what people really wanted was that frame rate patch, and that, they're not saying anything about that. And so to me, it was a little disappointing, but I'm not like a huge Pokemon guy. I know you like Pokemon. You grew up playing Pokemon. Yeah. So you got any thoughts about that?
I haven't played this newest one. I'm a little bit more of like, I love the retro stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like the unspoken things like modded Pokemon, but I'm not gonna talk about that because Nintendo's always watching. But
you like Pokemon with guns, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, right. As a matter of fact, if I play Power World, I'll mod out the guns. We'll just play PAL.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, frame rate patches are always good. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm even surprised that hardware can run at 30 at this point. So, hey, man, any patches are always good, right?
Yeah. Well, I know that it was really controversial when that game came out because it wasn't running at 30. It wasn't even running at 30, and that was a problem, obviously, for a lot of people. And so they said, hey, we're working on a patch, and I don't think that's come yet. And this game released in November, I believe, of last year. So it's been 7-8 months, and that's not here yet, but we're getting DLC for it. So I don't know, but you know what? That was already in the works too. I mean, I'm sure before they even finished the game, they were already working on this DLC. So yeah.
It's unfortunately the new era. I know there was a huge hubbub about one of the Pokemon games, and people knew already before the game came out that they were intentionally cutting off Pokemon for the DLC. And then the old time gamers like us who remember the times where the game was complete with all the Pokemon before it even came out, it puts a sour taste in our mouth. But maybe the newer generation is just used to it. I don't know.
Well, if they're not already, they will be before long, because these companies just keep doing that, right? They just keep putting out these games that aren't quite finished yet, or they're withholding content until later to make an extra $10 or whatever. So that's becoming more and more common.
Yeah.
Right after that, we saw Sonic Superstars.
Yes.
And we had already seen this game at Summer Game Fest. They announced it, and I think maybe there's been a little bit released about it since then, but that was a couple of weeks ago, and now it's officially coming to the Switch as well. And I tell you, this game, I'm not a huge Sonic fan either, but this game does look really good. I think it's really interesting, the new graphical style that they're going with. I think it looks good. I think it looks good and fast. I did notice it seemed like the footage we got before at Summer Game Fest, which I think was obviously on a different system.
Yeah.
This footage that we got today from Nintendo did look like it was just like a lower resolution. It looked, and you could tell it, but it seemed to be running fine, frame rate wise and stuff. I thought it was really funny though. At one point, they showed off some almost like power-ups that you get in the game.
Yes.
And at one point, Sonic turns into a jellyfish.
Yeah.
And, I was just thinking the other day that what every Sonic fan has always dreamed of is for Sonic to turn into a jellyfish. So I'm really glad that they finally brought that, making that dream come true.
Yeah,
bringing that content to us this year.
Yeah, it did mess with my eyes when I saw that. I said, "What is this that I'm seeing here?" But you know what? I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm a sucker for side scroller Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can still do that and spice it up, I'm all for it.
Well, it looks pretty spicy. I mean, it does. It's coming out this fall, so we won't have to wait long to see how good it is.
Yeah, this year's crazy.
This year is crazy. I'm telling you, man. People are finally catching up, releasing the stuff they've been working on that got destroyed during the pandemic. It's finally all coming out. Up next was Palia. I think that's how you say it. This was like fantasy adventure sim. It looked like The Sims, but in a fantasy world, is what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
They said it's coming out this holiday. I don't really like The Sims, so I don't know. Maybe I've told you this before, but I have this problem where I have a job and I work, right? I work hard. And when I come home, I don't want to do more work. I want to play games that are already built for me. I don't want to build a game and have a fake job after I'd worked my real job.
Yeah.
So I'm not really into those kind of games, but some people are. So maybe this is something that people will look forward to. I mean, it didn't look bad. I thought it looked fine. Just not my kind of game.
Yeah, I like Sims. I like those types of games. The problem with this one that I had personally, there's nothing there that I haven't seen before that makes me go, why should I play this instead of The Sims? That's already established, already has, so many expansions and different ways to play. Like in that short trailer, just wasn't a sell for me, to be honest. I was just like, eh.
Well, yeah. So you'd say it was like a little generic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just felt like I was watching a mobile game commercial. To be honest.
Well, yeah. I think unfortunately, and we don't have to get into this quite yet, but unfortunately, the older the Switch gets, the more like mobile games their games begin to look, because mobile games have caught up, if not surpassed, the Switch in graphical prowess.
Yeah.
After that, though, we got Persona 5 Tactica coming to the Switch.
I know.
We talked about Persona last time that you were on here with me, and I've never played a mainline Persona game, but I think this game looks really fun. I think it looks really interesting. I like occasionally, not super often, but about every other year or so, I'm like, you know what? I need to play a good strategy game. And this just looks like a really great stylized strategy game, and it's coming out this fall, November 17th. And they announced that pre-orders start today. Is this a game, as a Persona fan, are you looking forward to this?
I'm going to be honest, man. And I feel bad. I feel dirty saying this. I do.
It's okay. You got to.
But I got to say it. I just am not a fan of these tactics games. I'm not.
Okay.
I like the traditional turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
That, I can hop in, whether it be an older game or a newer game. I just love that. But the tactics game, and I've tried so many times, it just doesn't hook me. So due to this being Persona, maybe the soundtrack, the story, and I saw some of the cool mechanics where they had the trio. So you do like an all-out attack that way. That seems fun. So maybe that'll kind of like maybe win me over and actually give it a try. So I'll keep an eye on it.
Okay.
But I feel bad because I have a bias towards not liking tactics games. But
well, that's fine. There's some of them I don't like. Like I've tried playing XCOM 2,
right?
And I don't like those games. And those are like the king of the strategy RPG genre. And I really don't like that your characters die and you lose them permanently.
I felt like that.
Yeah, and I felt like that kept happening. Every time I would begin to get a character leveled up, they would die. And maybe I'm just not good at them. But then like Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, that game, I really like that game. It's not easy, but it's definitely not as difficult as XCOM. But it was really fun, and I had a lot of fun playing with Mario and Luigi. Even it was a little weird that they had like blasters, their laser guns and stuff. But But it worked, and it was a fun game, and it had a really great twist ending, and I just thought it was I thought it was great, and so this kind of gives me those kind of vibes.
Yeah. Like I said, like if there's any tactics game that would sell me over, it would be a Persona one. So we'll see.
So after this one, we had a really interesting announcement. It was called Myth Force, and I can't remember if they said it was free to play or not, but it looked like an 80s cartoon. It looked like He-Man. In fact, they even had an He-Man Easter egg in there where they said, He-Man always raises his sword and says, "By the power of Grayskull, I have the power." And they said, "By the power of teamwork." Like it was in there. But it is like this online co-op 80s cartoon style game, and it's going to be available this year.
I definitely caught that reference immediately. I mean, that was on the nose, on the bridge, right on the forehead.
It was.
Like, yeah.
I mean, even some of the character models looked like that could have been in He-Man in the 80s. And I'm not going to lie, like, I'm kind of a sucker for He-Man stuff. I grew up with He-Man, and
yeah.
And like I had He-Man bed sheets and He-Man action figures and all the stuff. And
nice.
And they kind of revitalized a lot of those toys for parents like me, who kind of like the nostalgia factor, right? And so my kids have now some He-Man action figures and whatnot.
There you go.
But I was getting huge He-Man vibes. I mean, as soon as it started, I was like, "This looks like He-Man," and then they kept going, and so I don't know. I don't like it. Might not be. I can't tell if it's going to be a good game or not, but it's definitely probably, especially if it's free to play, which I can't remember. I didn't quite catch it. If it is, I'm definitely going to try it out.
Yeah. Like, it's so hard. I don't know. It's the art style, I would say, is definitely nostalgic. It's awesome to see.
Well,
I just don't know what to expect out of the game. I don't know.
Me either.
Yeah.
Speaking of the art style, I did think it was unique. I mean, it was familiar, but it wasn't like everything else that's coming out right now.
Yeah, fair.
After that, we got a Splatfest announcement. I do like Splatoon. Splatoon 3 is a great game. And this was just an announcement about Splatfest. It was the new one is going to be in July. It's ice cream. Vanilla versus strawberry versus mint chocolate chip. So which one, Yugi, would you pick?
Of those three, man, mint chocolate chip might be my go-to.
Yeah.
Even though when I was younger, I despised it. I don't know why. As I'm older now, I can appreciate mint chocolate chip.
Your strawberry has matured in you.
Yeah. I don't know. I can appreciate. Maybe it's because I can appreciate good mints. I don't know. I got the grandpa candies in my bag or something. I don't know. So maybe that's what I would choose. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I bet that's probably going to be the most popular one.
You think so?
I think it will be. Yeah, I think it will be. I don't know. People do like strawberry. There's a lot of strawberry ice cream lovers out there.
I haven't met one yet.
Really? My son's one of them. He loves strawberry ice cream. He's 6, and he loves strawberry ice cream.
Okay, respect.
Yeah, he does. My family makes fun of me because I'm a straight up vanilla guy. I don't even need toppings. I love when I go to a new ice cream place, I always get just vanilla because I feel like that's the one flavor that's like your baseline across ice cream places. And I want to know how everybody's vanilla ice cream compares to the other. And I just like the taste. So
there you go. You can't go wrong with that, man. Can't go wrong with vanilla. It works.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah. After that, I did not see this one coming at all personally, but we got Detective Pikachu Returns. And man, I know people have been wanting a sequel to Detective Pikachu. Again, I've never played Detective Pikachu. Have you played that one?
I have not, but I've seen the movie.
Okay, well, you're still ahead of me. I haven't seen the movie either, but I know people have been wanting this game for a while. I just honestly didn't think it would ever come, but I was wrong. Here it is. Now, with that said, I thought the graphics looked terrible.
They
I
look
mean,
like pre-rendered models, like before they finalize it. Like when
yeah.
you're in the office and you see like they're still working on it. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, they had like no texture on anything. It just all was flat and
Yeah.
it did not look good.
Mm-mm.
And I mean, it looked like a GameCube game,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
And I mean, that we're past GameCube. Like, we can do better than that. Which brings me to back to Pokemon. And I'm just not really sure. Like, it seems like all of the Pokemon games that have come out on the Switch, it's almost like they don't know, you know, before all of them were on the handheld consoles. And then now they're on this home console, and it seems like they just don't know how to make the jump graphically.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of it that way. Yeah.
And I was really disappointed. Even though I'm not going to play this game, I was really disappointed for Detective Pikachu fans because it just I think they deserve better than this. And I don't know what's taking the Pokemon Company so long to figure out how to make good-looking games on the Switch. I mean, we've seen it with every single game they've released throughout the Switch's life. It just is like lackluster. And this was one of the worst-looking ones of all. Now, you could make the argument that it's like a side project, sort of, for them. But even so, they could have done better than this. I mean, it looks like they spent no time on this at all. The release is in October 6th. So it's done. Like, it's not gonna look any better, probably, than how it looks right now. You know? Like, they're in, like, squashing bugs mode, not still like doing the art and making better renders of stuff mode. So I don't know. I wasn't impressed. Yeah,
like it's a shame, man. Like, and I know we talked about this the last time we spoke, I think. So I played a home console, let's be honest, copy of Pokemon that's on the PlayStation called Nexomon. Huge fan of it. But again, it goes back to and again, like what we said maybe previously in our last video. I know we mentioned it though, but like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think it was when we were talking about Spider-Man. Nexomon takes what Pokemon did and then just improves upon that. You don't gotta. They're doing way too much, and then like you said, it's almost like there's no direction. They're just seeing what sticks. They're just throwing and seeing what sticks, and it's like, guys, like your original formula was so popular for a reason. It was at one point the highest selling game in the world, and now it's like everyone's just like, what's going on with Pokemon? I don't know. It's the same 3D generic stuff, and it's like, guys, like it's a shame, man. It worked.
Well, it's still selling millions of copies. I think
I bet.
The last one sold, I don't know, like 30 million copies or something. And again, it's only 6 or 7 months old, so it sold really well.
Right.
But I don't know. At some point, I think people are going to get tired of the ugly graphics, the low frame rates, and they're going to move on to somebody else is going to come along, and make a game that's similar but better, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
If they don't get their act together and start producing better quality content.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how business works.
Yeah. I'm sure there's creative ways they can really hone in, but I don't know what it is. Yeah. I don't know what the solution is at this point. There's a lot of things. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little skewed because I haven't spoken to many people who are like enthusiastically like on fire about Pokemon lately. Like I feel like that fire seems to be dimming with Pokemon fans that I speak to in my circle. I don't know.
It might be.
Yeah. So yeah, they got to figure something out.
Yeah, they do. I agree. Otherwise, you're just going to see people like start picking up like handheld emulators like this little guy and playing the old school stuff over again.
That's what I do. Yeah. I told you earlier, like I play like fan created like mods of old Pokemon games.
Yeah.
These games you can play as Ash Ketchum, go through the whole anime and play and go through different leagues. Come on, Bo. I'm going to play that any day. When's Nintendo going to drop a Ash Ketchum storyline? I mean, Dragon Ball Z did it. I'm going to rant.
Oh, man.
Dragon Ball Z, right? They did Legacy of or Story of Kakarot, right? Why can't they do a Pokemon story of Ash Ketchum.
This
You
is
start
the
as him, and then man, that
this
was
is the
great.
most nerdy I have ever heard you be right now.
It's I just I can go on all day,
Oh
man.
man, yeah. No,
No,
that's a good point. That's a good
yeah,
point.
yeah.
And
Oh
it's
yeah.
that kind of stuff is so it's getting easier and easier to like understand how to mod things or like emulate stuff, and that stuff is getting better and better every day.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so they need to figure something out for sure.
They do. They do.
So after that, we got another. This was sort of like rumor leak territory a few days ago. But we got this Super Mario RPG remake, which was a Super Nintendo game from back in the day, and totally redone, in a modern art style and with new, updated controls and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
completely remade. I really kind of struggled liking the art on this one though. Something about the Mario's shape was weird, and like the
Mm.
characters, they looked too short. Like they looked
Mm.
like
Yeah.
chibi versions of
Yeah.
themselves or something. And I'm not sure that I liked that. But the game itself is a classic, and probably will be very good. Nintendo doesn't mess around too often with Mario. When it comes to Mario, they generally produce quality games. So I have no doubt that it'll be good. And it's coming out November 17th. They had a lot of stuff dated for October, November, which also surprised me from the whole direct, because a lot of
Yeah.
people, including myself, thought that after Zelda and Pikmin 4, Tears of the Kingdom and Pikmin 4, that the Switch was pretty much done, because Nintendo hadn't announced anything for after Pikmin 4 until today. But I don't know. Did you have any opinions on Super Mario RPG?
This is gonna blow your mind. That's the reason why I'm buying a Switch. That
No
game right
way!
there. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, let's
I
go.
am so hyped. I said, because I never got to play it as a kid.
Uh-huh.
So I would watch people play and I would be so jealous.
Mm.
I was like,
It's a good game.
I was like,
And I
Super
think this is going to
Mario.
be a good game.
And like I was telling you earlier, traditional RPGs are my jam.
Yeah.
So I saw Mario, traditional RPG, sign me up. Take my money. Here you go. I'm
Yeah.
ready for it, man. I'm ready because I never got the chance to play it. So now's my chance, and I'm so excited. You said it was coming out when? I'll have it by
November 17th.
then. I'll have it by
It's
then.
not long. I mean, it's going to be here before we know it.
Yep.
And
You
it
already
looked
know.
and it looked, I mean, in this trailer, it looked polished. It looked great. It was just those character models for some reason just
Yeah.
I don't know, struck me weird.
And I'm with you there. Like it seems like they really sometimes like a lot of these companies do this when they do remakes, like they kind of stick to the old feel or look to a fault. And sometimes that can be good, sometimes it can be bad. It just depends on the person. Like
Mhm.
I'm a little more on the like I'm indifferent about it.
Yeah.
But one of the big games that I saw a lot of people were critical of, even though it was a good remake, was Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Because the style and look of the old one,
Uh-huh.
a lot of people actually preferred that versus the new one that's a little more darker and gritty, and like things don't pop out as much, you can't see as well, versus in the old one, like with that limited type of hardware, they really like push the limits of what they can do in terms of like visuals, whereas now it's a little more difficult to kind of portray that same style. So I can see how like them trying to be faithful to the original look may have been to its detriment. They could have probably, maybe increased some sizes here, maybe his body, because it does. I like even recalling the trailer. I do remember just seeing Mario's head just running around. Like I've barely seen the rest of his body. So yeah, I can see why you feel that way, but I don't know, man. Traditional RPG and Mario, that's a good marriage.
Well,
me.
I mean, again, don't hear me wrong. I think the game itself is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
It was just those choices, the art choices. Some of them threw me off. I wasn't expecting it to look like that.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So right after that, they're like, "Hey, that's not the only character from that trailer that's getting a game." And then they showed off for like 10 seconds a Princess Peach game No title. They just said it's coming out next year.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all we know about it. It's a game starring Princess Peach. And I told my daughter about it tonight, and my wife was in the next room, and she came running in and said, "That's the game that we want."
Okay, there you go.
So we might be getting that game whether I want it or not. Yeah.
It's funny. I remember and clearly there's an audience that they're appealing to, and I think that's great. And this is no diss on them, but that just reminds me of a funny story of me trying to show my sister a game like that once, and she was like, "I don't want to play that game. It looks like it sucks. I want to play Mario." So you know what I mean? Like, hopefully it's Nintendo. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking more of like another console, but I have no doubt it'll be great.
It probably will be, and it would make sense for them to finally do that. I'm surprised that I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because everybody was so excited that Princess Peach in the Super Mario Bros. Movie fought alongside of Mario, and she was super cool. I mean, she was jumping all over the place and had had the staff and doing all this ninja stuff.
Yeah.
And she was cool in that movie, and so it doesn't surprise me that they're making a game, maybe to kind of capitalize on some of that hype,
Yeah.
But it does surprise me because I know for a fact that for years people have been clamoring for a Zelda game starring Zelda instead of Link, and wanting to play at least like some of the game, like swapping between the two, playing as Zelda. And they haven't given them that yet. So I'm kind of a little bit, maybe they're testing the waters or something. I don't know. But but yeah.
So that does seem like a missed opportunity, because I believe Sheik is supposed to be Princess Zelda, but disguised as a warrior. And she's like, so yeah, that seems like a missed opportunity. So hopefully they can, like you said, test the waters here, see how it goes.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'll go ahead.
I was going to say, this isn't the Princess Peach I used to know. She learned how to fight. This girl's not the same.
Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah, right?
She took some self-defense classes,
Seriously.
She got tired of hanging out in dungeons and weird castles. So, so then they were like, hey, and that's still not the only character getting the game. Luigi is also getting another game. It's a Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon remaster, which is the second Luigi's Mansion game that was on the DS or 3DS. I can't remember all of a sudden. It was on one of those handheld consoles.
I think it was 3DS.
Okay. So it's getting a remaster on the Switch, coming out sometime next year. And I'm actually happy about that, because I've never played either of the original two Luigi's Mansions. But we have Luigi's Mansion 3, which, if you're getting a Switch, I would highly recommend that you pick up Luigi's Mansion 3, because it has some of the best animations of any game on the system. It might be the best animated game on the system. Like the facial animations and just like how Luigi moves and stuff in the game. And it's a very creative game. Lots of really, really intricate and cool puzzles that make you feel really good when you solve them. And the boss fights are all really good. Like, it's just all around a really great game. And it looks incredible. Like, it is a showstopper game for the Switch. So I'm excited to possibly have the opportunity to play the second one as well. So I think that's pretty good announcement.
Yeah. The Luigi's Mansion's always captivated me as a kid. I have unfortunately never gotten to play one, but now that I'm switching over, pun intended, it's good to know I could try some Luigi's Mansion and 3, and I'm gonna hold you to it, because best animations. Wow,
I'm not kidding, dude.
Yeah, I see that,
and some of the best lighting effects on the Switch as well. I mean, they really did a great job with that game. So hopefully this one is just as good.
Okay.
Then Oh man. Then we got this that no joke, every Nintendo Direct in my head, I think this is the time they're going to announce this. This is coming. It's got to be coming. And every time I'm disappointed. And this, honestly, I was going into this thinking this is the last big Switch Direct we're ever going to get. Yeah. This game's not coming. It's over. The Switch is over. Sometime in the next 10 months, we're going to get at least a Switch 2 announcement. This is the last days of the Switch, right? We're not getting this. The Batman Arkham Trilogy on the Switch. They announced it today. I could not believe it. I could not believe it. I have bought these games so many times on so many different platforms. I have them on PC. I have them on PlayStation 5. I have them on Xbox. And the trilogy goes on sale about 5 or 6 times a year for $8.99. Right. The whole thing. And these are 3 really good games.
Oh, yeah.
Really good games. And even the last one, Arkham Knight, which had a lot of problems when it launched, but they fixed all that since then. When you look at that, it's so sad. It's so sad, Yugi. When you compare Arkham Knight to Gotham Knights looks even worse. Even worse than it does when you're not comparing them, and it looks pretty bad then, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate.
Arkham Knight still looks really, really good and is a really good game. So I'm excited that it's finally coming to Switch. I remember like in 2018, I believe, they ported Warframe to the Switch. I don't know if you've ever played Warframe, but it's a pretty good looking game and very fast and fluid, and it was free. And I downloaded it and I started playing it. I was like, man, this is a free game on Switch and they got it running so well. And you're telling me that they can't get the Arkham Trilogy to run on the Switch? I know they can.
And yeah.
And I've thought ever since then that they were going to bring it, and I've always been disappointed. So I'm excited to see that one. I wish that they were bringing Origins over too, because that's actually, City is probably my favorite one, but Origins is a close second. And that's the one that everybody kind of usually is like, oh, that's the black sheep of the Arkham games. But I actually really like that one.
Has a special place in your heart.
It does. It's actually the first game ever that I played New Game Plus on.
Whoa.
Ever.
You dived in twice.
Right after I was done. Played New Game Plus.
And beat it?
Yeah. Beat it a second time.
Okay. Yeah, man. I mean, this is like, this is everything a Batman fan can have. I mean, it's, some would argue that this is better than what some of even the movies have delivered. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know your opinion on the recent one, but just like, this is the Batman we know and love. So it great games. Like
with Kevin Conroy as the voice, and it comes with all the DLC. I'm pretty sure it's the remastered versions of the first and second games. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if it comes on all on the cartridge. It probably won't. It'll probably be partially on a cartridge and partially download. Yeah. But anyway, I'm glad it's coming. It's coming out this fall. It's honestly, it's about time. I don't know why they waited so long. I don't know if this is like a kind of like an olive branch to the public because of all of the mess with the Suicide Squad. Its delay or what's going on. But I will say that the resolution definitely took a hit, and you could tell that in the trailer. Obviously, I mean, the Switch is old. It's old mobile tech that came out in 2015. Well, the chip that's in it came out in 2015. So, there's only so much it can do, but they got them all on there. They're all running. So that's good.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. And what's your opinion of the new Batman movie, the newest Batman movie? The newest
Oh,
Batman movie or of Ben Affleck as Batman? Or
so
both?
I was talking about Robert Pattinson,
Yeah, yeah.
and I feel bad because I feel like they were going for a different direction, but that's just not the Bruce Wayne I know. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
he's like this sappy, like, ugh, I can't, like, and I get it. Maybe it's like I'm trying to be charitable here, and let's just say that maybe that's like,
Oh no, you're gone.
no,
Yeah, you're back.
okay, there we go. That was weird.
Hey, that new rig's coming on Saturday, man.
I don't know if that was me or not. I don't know.
I don't know
Um,
either.
yeah. Where did I last like?
You're talking about how sappy he was.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, like he's like a little more sappy, and I'm trying to be charitable and say that maybe that's like Batman with growing pains, starting his journey, like kind of like figuring things out. But I don't know. It's kind of maybe that's just not like again like when I see the Arkham trilogy, like that's the Batman I know. Like
Yeah.
he's already established. So seeing him like that was kind of just like, can we move on already? Like, can we get to the Batman we know and love? Like the confident, like the
Yeah.
man who's confident when he's showing his face, but then obviously ruthless vigilante at night. Like, so seeing him like that in these games, just man, it's like the golden dream right there. They really knocked it out of the park, and now you can take it anywhere you go. I mean, come on, you can't.
That's true. I actually
Right.
hadn't thought about that today. Yeah, I didn't like the Robert Pattinson Batman either.
Yeah.
It really bothered me that like Batman is like stealth ninja, strike fear into your heart and then take you
Right.
down. And this Batman, he like walked super slow everywhere he went with these huge boots that made all this noise. I'm like,
Right.
that is not stealthy at all. You were giving them
Right.
all kinds of time to just blow your face off, man.
Yeah.
You got to swoop in and attack
Right.
before they know what's hit them. And and he just kept walking around everywhere, like everywhere he went. He just it just bothered me so much. It was silly. I felt like he didn't feel like Batman, and I felt like they could have made him. They could have just made up a character and given him any name. He could have been, I don't know, the Mike. I don't know, and made the movie, and you wouldn't have like it would have been the same movie, and you
Yeah.
and I might have even liked it better because it wasn't Batman.
Yeah, to me,
I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, I tried so hard to be charitable that movie, but the whole time I was thinking like I'd rather just play Arkham right now. I don't feel it there, but I don't know. Again, I'm trying to be charitable. Yeah. Assuming he changes his act in the next one, maybe like
matures a little
costume. Yeah, like matures a little, maybe like starts to implement those tactics.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to like go on steroids and get all big because I don't condone that. But if they can like maybe make his suit, make him look a little larger like Batman is typically,
yeah.
I'll be like, okay, I'll forgive the first movie. But if he's just going to be like this the whole time, ugh.
I agree. Well, that has nothing to do with the Nintendo Direct, but that was fun to talk about.
Yeah, we're getting real dorky.
Let's see here. What was next? Oh, yes. Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven was like a card battle board game, and it looked like it had a lot of frame rate dips, and it's coming out September 18th, and pre-orders started today. And while I am capable of enjoying a good card battle system, this did not interest me really. I thought I thought the graphics looked gritty, like dirty,
Yeah.
like low res, and then that frame rate. If it had been smooth, maybe I would think differently, but it seemed like it was really chugging along, and I don't know, it just
Yeah.
wasn't fluid at all. And maybe that was just part of the YouTube compression, but I don't think so. I think it just was struggling. So it didn't look optimized for the Switch to me.
Speaking of dorky, I'm a tabletop gamer.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, like hardcore, millions of pieces. Gloomhaven's one of the most famous ones. So this isn't really like I'm getting the impression, and I know this was already on PC. Like, I would get the impression that they're not shooting to make a game more than they are like a digital version of the board game.
Right.
So I would look at it that way because
okay.
Board games aren't for everyone. Nobody wants to sit there and read lines of text and imagine it in their heads, because that's what you would do with Gloomhaven. Yeah. This kind of just more like gives you a visual representation, but still keeps that like board game format. If you look at the hexagons and stuff like that, it's literally like that in the game. Like the pieces fall into place that way. So let me share that knowledge with you as a super closeted nerd, apparently.
Thank you for enlightening me, helping me understand.
I got you, man. I got you. Yeah. Think of more like the Monopoly game. You know what I mean? Like they just make it look a little prettier, but it's Monopoly. Like how are you gonna
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a tabletop gamer, so I didn't know any of that. So seriously, thank you.
I just
almost put my foot in my mouth.
I'm here to save you, bro. I got you. Yeah, no, that's like literally one of the most popular like board games.
Very good. Very
good. You
good.
just triggered every nerd ever.
Oh no. I'm sorry, everyone.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, as expected. What do you expect from the
Well, it wasn't like I said, like the card stuff looked cool, but it was just when the pieces would move on the board. It looked like they were the frame rate looked low, and so I just wish it was smooth. Like, can't we have both? Can't we have a great a great board game, virtual board game, card game with smooth graphics?
Yeah. No, I'd highly recommend. It's super optimized on PC.
It probably is. Yeah. So. Very good. Well, speaking of moving your feet, the next game was Just Dance 2024. I know you're a huge Just Dance guy.
Yes.
This is how you do all your cardio in the spandex in your living room.
Nothing like a good old Miley Cyrus.
It's coming out October 24th, so you can get it just in time for Halloween. And
what was in case you weren't scared enough already of me doing this. What's up with the guy who kept doing that?
That was pretty funny, actually, that he was doing that.
It was so goofy.
It was really goofy.
But why is it so less cringe when they do it than when like we do it? I swear they were very professional. Maybe that's what it is.
I don't know. Yeah, they come out there in their suits, and I did think that was kind of funny too, because they obviously I think they dressed down because neither of them had a tie on, and they had the button undone.
They said, "Hey man, you're gonna be sweating a little bit. You might want to loosen that tie."
Oh man. But that was funny.
I hate to admit that I've played Just Dance before, and I'm gonna be honest. No, hold on. Let me finish. I legitimately did want to implement it as a workout routine. It is not sustainable because here's the thing. I'm trying to be I'm being way too honest than I probably should be. The problem that I have with Just Dance is that it's like a subscription service, dude. You know what I mean? So okay, look, I showed you my Guitar Hero guitar. When you put in Guitar Hero 3, you get the Guitar Hero 3 soundtrack, right?
Yeah.
Just Dance, you'll get like barely 10 songs, and then you have to like pay this insane Ubisoft subscription to get the good songs from Just Dance, back in the days. So,
oh man,
hands-on science, I figured it out on my own, unfortunately. So that's my problem with Just Dance.
Oh well, I'm just glad they didn't announce this one for the Wii as well, because they were still doing that a year or two ago.
Yeah. Oh god.
So yeah, that's coming out in October, and then after that we got Silent Hope from X Seed, an RPG, October 3rd. I didn't think anything looked extraordinary about it. I thought it was kind of forgettable otherwise, other than making
Yeah.
me think of Tumbleweed.
Yeah. The company, the game that I've noticed, their that company from was No More Heroes. My friend used to be a big fan of that
Oh
game.
yeah, maybe that's where I heard of them.
Yeah, so I mean, the company definitely like precedes its reputation. Seeing it making this game, I mean, I don't know, I don't know who's it for. I don't know who's this game for. I don't know. Didn't really do anything for me personally.
Yeah, Silent Hope,
Yeah.
and again, it had that kind of like chibi. Am I using that term right? That
Yep,
chibi,
you are.
that chibi art style, and I don't know, just wasn't doing anything for me.
Yeah, same. Kind of like looks like a generic mobile game again. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah, I'll pass.
After that, in classic Nintendo Direct fashion, they had a montage. So they hit a bunch of stuff really quick, getting toward the end of the show here. And so they had Fae Farm, which was a farming fantasy sim. It's a console exclusive, at least at launch. They didn't say for how long. I don't think anyone else has talked about this, but Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. I think they got to announce this, which is a pretty big deal. The first Hot Wheels Unleashed game did really well. And so
Yeah.
we got a second one here. Looks like they have a track builder this time around. They've got split screen co-op, and they also have online play. It's coming out October 19th, and I thought it looked like it was running really well on the Switch. So that's really good. I'm sure it'll look even better on the other consoles, but I was surprised to see that one.
Yeah. I love the game. I love the concept. If they can really nail down the driving controls, because I felt like it was like a little. I don't know why. When I played it, it felt flimsy.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that makes sense. So
It
hopefully
does.
they tighten it up a little bit.
Like, I don't know, like you slid around a little too much or something. Like
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird, but I mean that's just I'm a Burnout stan, so maybe that's why. Like I'm used to that visceral feeling, and you can feel like
tire
your
on the
tires
pavement.
constantly. Yeah, you can feel it. So
This
maybe
felt
that's
like
just me.
plastic tires on a plastic track.
Yeah, literally covered in baby drool, like it you're just sliding everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was just kind of cool that they got to be the ones to announce that game is coming out. So
Yeah, that is cool. I mean,
that was a good get for them.
Yeah,
at this
you
stage
can't
in the
deny
Switch's
the
life.
vehicle roster is endless, practically.
Yeah,
so
it is. I mean, you start looking at like Hot Wheels collectible stuff, like it really is. Like they have done everything, fiction and nonfiction, vehicle wise. So you could get into so much. You're charging like $1 per car, man. You can make some money on a game like that.
Yes.
After Hot Wheels, we got Manic Mechanics, and I'll tell you what, this looked exactly like Overcooked, but you were building a car instead of cooking a dish, right? So, if you like that kind of couch co-op gameplay style, I know Overcooked has ruined friendships and destroyed families, but because you get so mad about people not doing their job or whatever. But this was look like that, but you're building a car instead. So that's kind of cool. Those Overcooked games, honestly, are pretty good.
Yeah. They require a deceptively extreme amount of teamwork.
Yeah. Like that's what's good about them, is that it makes you communicate.
You have to.
You have to communicate. Yeah. So you have to like it helps your communication skills. You have to learn how to communicate to play that game.
No, I'm kidding. I played it with my wife, and
your marriage is probably stronger for it.
Yes.
So, yeah. And then we got some Mario plus Rabbids DLC that launched today. I'm a little disappointed because the DLC for the first game was Donkey Kong. They made like a whole new land, and you got to play as Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong type characters in the DLC for the first game. And this one was just like more of what the base game already had. It looked like to me, but the Donkey Kong stuff was really cool. So then we got Dragon Quest Monsters, and I tell you what, as soon as I saw this, my first thought was, "Is this Dragon Quest?" My second thought was, it looks like they cloned Pokemon. It looks like a Pokemon clone.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna judge because I played a Pokemon clone before and actually enjoyed it. It's one of those things though that I don't know if Dragon Quest really needed to do that. Is my thing, because they already had the traditional RPG that everyone already knows and loves.
Yeah,
like who asked for this is my thing.
I don't know.
Right, like I don't know.
They do try different stuff. Like they did the Dragon Quest Builders, which is like a sort of like a Minecraft clone. They've done Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, which is sort of like their take on the Warriors franchise. So they're not afraid to try other things. This one it's coming out December 1st. And just like the Pokemon games that we saw today, the graphics just did not impress. I mean, Dragon Quest XI is on the Switch, and it is another one of those games that it just looks so good. And you're like, man, I can't believe I'm playing this, on a handheld device. And and that was years ago, and this just looks way worse graphically than that. So it's just kind of disappointing to see, to backtrack like that.
Yeah, so. Like we could be being a little ungenerous because I do know Dragon Quest is like ridiculous in Japan. Like,
oh yeah,
it's a thing. Like apparently they have problems with like people calling out of like work in Japan because Dragon Quest is so huge. So maybe just like here we don't see it, whereas over there it's like a big thing,
Well, I'm sure that they would appreciate the game looking good though, too.
Right. You would imagine.
But another game that's coming out really pretty soon, like this year, and and that will be a big seller. I'm sure there'll be people that will really love and probably call in sick to work the day that it launches,
Yeah.
So that was cool. Then we got a pretty extended look at Pikmin 4. And this is the point of the show where I started to realize how the live stream YouTube compression, how much it was affecting the look of each of these games, because I know I've watched the Pikmin footage from the last time they released some stuff, after the fact when it wasn't a live stream, and that footage looked better months ago than today's footage did live. And so that compression is no joke, watching some of this stuff live. So they showed off some glow Pikmin, the new mechanic. It's coming out in just a few weeks, July 21st, and there's going to be a demo on the 28th. So, Pikmin fans can get excited and be ready to play Pikmin 4 next month when it comes out. But
I'm glad they released 1 and 2 too. So if
that was the next thing,
tried it, if no one's ever tried it, like that's good. Like myself, I've always was enamored by watching it. I was like, wow, it's so cool, the little concept of sending your little minions out and having them do their thing. But I like that I can go back to the first one, because I know there's a lot of people, and I'm one of those people who may feel bad about playing a sequel without knowing how the originals were.
Yeah.
I mean, so Pikmin doesn't take me as like a complicated story game, but it's always nice. Like why I'm so glad I started with Persona 3 when I started that journey is that I was able to appreciate the different mechanics that came out in the subsequent sequels.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, like
Yeah.
if you start with like let's say for example Persona 5 to Persona 3, you're gonna feel like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good to start with the beginning and then kind of slowly move up. Sometimes depends.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know how long those games are, but I wouldn't imagine the first two are very long.
Right.
Being older, but yeah, we're getting those released today. So I kind of wish that they had released those maybe like 3 months ago or something, because it seems really close. Like if you wanted to play the first three, the third one's already out on Switch. If you wanted to play the first three before you play 4, that's a lot of Pikmin in the next month.
Yeah.
I would have, if it were me, I would have staggered those releases. I would have done one like in February and 2 in May or late April or something. And then,
Yeah.
but they didn't ask me, so whatever. And then we got the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection HD Volume 1, which concludes Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear, like the NES games and some of those older school games. And then they started talking about how it has like a digital graphic novel in there, a couple of them, and this art book, and then the soundtrack. And I thought, man, this really is a master collection. Like, it looks like they went above and beyond to make sure that what you're getting in this package is worth the price, And I really appreciate that, because most people don't do that anymore. I was recently playing through the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection with my family, and I was looking through the menu system, and they have all of the original boxes. There's 13 games in that collection, and all the original boxes and the manuals that came in the boxes with the games are in the game, like in the menu system. And I just really enjoyed like going through and looking at the box art. And they had like the box art in the US and the box art in Japan, because they were different. And it's like really fun to look through that and look through those manuals. And I don't know, it's just neat. So I liked seeing that they had that kind of stuff in this collection too. Thought that was cool.
That's really cool. I didn't know that about the Cowabunga collection. You just sold me to me right there. It's nothing like that feeling, man. I bet you when you open the case in that collection you just mentioned, you can still get that smell in your head of the fresh game case. But yeah, man, I'm so glad you said that. Master collection is definitely the perfect word for it, because here's the thing about a lot of those games on there, and a lot of the features that are on there are hard to get, because the digital graphic novel was a PSP exclusive. The NES, or I believe it's a different the retro games. I don't know the exact I think it's called like it's some computer system they had back in the days.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you're good. It was like Japanese exclusives. And then those, last I remember, there was I think a PS3 collection, and you had to like download it or something like that. Like if you wanted Metal Gear Solid 1, you had to download it instead of having it on the disc. You had to boot up Metal Gear Solid 3 to even play the old games. Snake's Revenge, I don't think was part of that catalog. Also, because the lore of Metal Gear is so expansive, the encyclopedia was a PS3 exclusive as well.
Really?
So you needed to have a PS3 to download the encyclopedia. So the fact that they have the lore encyclopedia with that, mixed with the PXP exclusive comic book, mixed with the retro games that was only on MGS3. Metal Gear Solid 1's actually on the collection instead of having to download it separately. Yeah, it's just like it takes the pain in the butt of what you had in the previous way of playing it and just makes it easy for you. And I'm so glad about that.
Yeah. It's really awesome, because you're right. I think the last time I think there was an HD collection or something that came out, but it was during the PS3 360 era. And man, unless you have a working PS3, you can't play PS3 games.
Right.
You know, unless you're going to emulate them, you know.
Right.
But they don't play on PS4 or 5, and something about the way that chipset works, it is just not compatible, or for whatever reason. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so some of those games are just like literally being lost to time, and they're not for sale on any of the shops, I don't believe either, because of that same reason. So, so this is really cool. This is really cool for Metal Gear fans, and this is Volume 1,
Oh,
which
don't. Oh
which
man.
indicates that there's gonna be a
Yeah.
Volume 2. You know?
And yes, and Metal Gear Solid 4, if it's coming, oh man, that is amazing. That game holds up to this day.
Yeah.
Those graphics are so amazing. And the system, the way it works, like I said, don't get me started talking about Metal Gear because I'll take over the podcast, man. I'll be talking all day. But just yeah, it's way past time because we're talking 2008 came out on PS3, never been released since.
Yeah.
It's time. It's time. They need to bring back Metal Gear Solid 4. It's like it's it is like the game that I would recommend to anyone who's a Metal Gear fan because the features were just so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
That I think anyone could play that game and appreciate it. Yeah.
And then there was some drama behind the scenes, right? And 5 came out, and people generally didn't like that one. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah.
But that was on PS4.
Yeah, the biggest complaint was it's not even that it's a bad game. The problem was that because they were in the middle of firing the director, Kojima, he didn't get to finish the story. So there's a lot of unsolved answers. And then there was cut footage released publicly on YouTube. And that kind of solidified everyone's anger because it was like this was like a serious because the Metal Gear lore is so extensive. Again, like people grew up with Star Wars, I grew up with Metal Gear. That's like my Star Wars. There's a very extended lore there. So
okay,
and we're here, when we're hearing like there's like Metal Gear fans, they love the cutscenes, believe it or not. I think in Metal Gear Solid 4, it's like clocked in as like a world record cutscene or something like that. It's like over an hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a movie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you can take a good nap with that. But that cutscene is just so important. So, you know what I mean? That's just Metal
one
Gear fans.
Cutscene?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's that important. But again, like that's just Metal Gear fans being Metal Gear fans. I still recommend 5 to anyone. Gameplay solid. It's just the story wasn't completed. That's what sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that does. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So after that incredible reveal, we got Vampire Survivor, which I understand. It's my understanding that this is a game that a whole lot of people have been playing and streaming and enjoying. I've never played it, but I think it makes sense. You know, I've seen it and I saw it today, and you know, graphically, it looks like the Switch should be more than capable of handling that game. They said it had 4-player couch co-op, which is always cool. I don't think there are enough couch co-op games anymore today. They just don't have them. They don't make them like they used to. And it's coming out August 17th. Have you played this one?
Yeah. Funny enough, I started using it for my TikTok videos.
Really?
Yeah. Hashtag self promo, guys. But I do Reddit stories on there, and I started using Vampire Survivor in my last one, and from henceforth I will. It's a great little fun game. It's almost like a game. It's funny, because I know a streamer that does this. It's a game that you play while you're waiting for the game to load. It's just so It's just so great to just jump into as a little fun game. Nothing too serious. Nothing too like It doesn't require much brain power, but it's like a fun little challenge game. Think of like you ever play those mobile games where you have to constantly keep jumping on the platforms and go higher and higher?
Yeah.
Think of something like that. Obviously a lot more complex, but I think the goal is to survive for 30 minutes. Try to get as many power-ups as you can, and you're literally just walking around. It auto attacks for you. It's literally like just something to do if you got like a 30 minutes to spare. but there's
That's
enough there to
funny.
warrant. Yeah, there's enough there to warrant repeated playthroughs. It's a bus. I call it a bus stop game. You're waiting for your bus. You throw this game on. The bus will be there while you're done.
So you know what that reminds me of is
Mm.
the original Splatoon. Because in the original Splatoon, when you were waiting to join a match online, and it was on the Wii U, right? And you had the Wii U gamepad, which had the screen on it. So you're waiting to join a match online, but on your screen and on the handheld part of it, they had a mini game, and it was a jump game, and there was like lava or something coming up, and you had to keep jumping your little squid character.
That's
it was
really
just a
cool.
little 2D thing, but you played it while you waited, and I thought, why doesn't every game have this? Like, why
Right?
doesn't every game do this? This is so
Right?
genius. And they, of course, didn't bring it back for the sequels because they only had one screen working with one screen. But I don't know. I'm sure there's still a way you could do it. But that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the concept of that. Like, here's what you do while you're waiting to do the thing that you want to do.
Yeah. It's not something I would say you're going to be fully immersed in. But let's say, you're waiting for your pizza to cook in the oven and you and the kids are hanging out on the couch. Be a good game to put on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that I know about your affinity for rhythm games, the next announcement is for you. I mean, it just is.
Yes.
It's Headbangers Rhythm Royale. It is a pigeon rhythm game.
You can't say that with a straight face, right?
I can't. No, it is.
Pigeon.
You play as a pigeon, and it's a rhythm game. It is a bunch of mini rhythm games, that you play as a pigeon. And they went there. They made the joke that it is an impeccable good time. They said it, not me, but
all right.
an impeccable good time playing as the pigeon. I think this is for you, Yugi. You're getting that new shiny Switch. You're gonna need this. And you know what? It's even coming out on October 31st on Halloween because this game is so scary. Yeah.
I just.
Those pigeons like to move. They like to move, man.
Oh yeah,
Just dancing pigeons.
Nothing like a disco pigeon. Oh man, and that's what I'm saying. I think so I was watching the direct, but I wasn't watching. I was doing something at the time, so I had my headphones on, and I think I heard the pigeon comment, right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that sounds like a dumb game. And then at some point, I hear Battle Royale rhythm game. I said, hold up. So I go to my phone. I'm like, they're speaking my language.
It got your attention.
I'm like, but what am I watching? What is this?
Oh man, yeah, I don't know what that was. It was something.
I need to know who approved this game. I need to know. I want to be like, man, this has got to be somebody who's just really willing to risk it all. He's just ready. He's just, that friend who's just down for whatever. That's him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whoever made this game is just down for whatever.
Oh man.
I don't know, man. I feel so bad saying this because you know me. You said it. I have an affinity for rhythm games. Love me some rhythm games, but can we maybe pull the reins a little bit? Where are we going with this? Can we go back a little bit?
Yeah. There was a line, and they crossed it. They danced right over it.
You know what I mean? Come on, Bo. Somebody comes up to you and say, "Hey, man, I want to make a battle royale game with dancing pigeons." You're like,
I've never heard a better idea in my entire life.
Hey, Karen, do we have any drug tests in the back? That's what I would say.
Oh man.
I can't. I can't.
I wonder.
I feel obligated to play it, but really,
I wonder how much it'll be. I wonder how much.
That's a great question. That price tag is a serious debate for me. I don't even know what it's called. What do you call it? Pigeon.
It's called Headbangers Rhythm Royale.
You're joking.
I'm not.
Goodness.
I'm not joking. I wish I was joking. But that is what it's called.
Man.
The pigeons.
Yeah, this game looks absolutely goofy. I can't even.
It
Yeah,
does.
no.
It
What
does.
am I watching? Yeah, no. I can't even. I'm looking at it right now, and this is like a bad dream. This is a nightmare.
They said battle royale, but it's mini games, so it's kind of like a twist on Fall Guys in a way. It looks like there's rounds that you play, and you get knocked out if you don't do well enough.
Yeah.
And you like Fall Guys and rhythm games. This really might be exactly for you. You're the target audience,
dude. But like, okay, so who's gonna be in the queue? Just me? Like the guy who feels like he needs to play it, and everyone else was like, "What is that?"
You know what? If the price is right, I'll play with you. I'll play with you, Yugi.
Thanks, man.
At least once. Once.
We'll tap into our inner pigeon.
Good grief. We can stream it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be wondering. Those head-banging pigeons.
I'm gonna hit 0 subscribers that day.
They just all left. They all unsubscribed.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we got Penny's big breakaway, and they made a point to mention that this is from the team behind Sonic Mania. And they made another cheesy joke about, like, there were penguins everywhere. So we went from pigeons to penguins, but the penguins are bad, I guess, in the game.
Okay.
And it was just littered with them all over the place. And so they made this joke about Penny and her fowl play, FOWL play, because of all the birds. And it's coming out in early 2024. So there's that one. I don't have anything else to say about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 Wave 5 Booster Course Pass. With the only interesting thing there for me was I know that there are a lot of PD Piranha fans out there, and PD Piranha is coming in Wave 5. But honestly, I'm just ready for Mario Kart 9 or whatever it's going to be called. I had this game on Wii U. It was good there. I bought it again on the Switch. It was good there too. And it just won't stop. And the crazy thing is that it's constantly like at the top of the sales charts somehow. And I don't know who's even left to buy this game, because they've sold like 50 million copies of this game. And that's not including the Wii U version, which sold like 7 or 8 million copies. So seriously, like almost 60 million copies of this game have been purchased. That is
a lot.
Insane.
Yeah.
And that's on like 2 systems, but just one system for the most part. It's not a multi-platform release, so that's a lot of copies. But that's coming out sometime summer 2023, which I thought was weird too, that they didn't put a date on it when it's summer.
Yeah.
So anyway, then we got a Star Ocean 2 remake. I've never played a Star Ocean game, but this one was kind of weird. It's sci-fi, turn-based RPG, coming out November 2nd. But did you see the trailer for this one? I know you weren't like only kind of watching.
Yeah. I vaguely remember it.
So the environments were like, they went for this realistic graphic style, but all of the characters were made in like 8-bit pixel style. Like they were 2D and pixelated, but all the environments they're in are 3D and realistic. And it was like kind of weird, kind of jarring. Like
just off-putting,
it just looked odd. Like it reminded me of like an animated movie where the animated characters leave the cartoon world and go into the real world, like something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what was going on there. I don't know if they were like, you know what? Let's just keep the character models from the original game and and work on the environments. Was it a budget cut? Did somebody get fired when they were supposed to? I don't know. It just seemed weird to me.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who like actually get irritated. I don't know if there's like a psychology there or something, but people just there's some people that like are tolerant. You're either tolerant of it or you really don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something about it's off-putting. I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully it's a great game for Star Ocean fans, though. I know it's been a while since they got a game. Then we had WarioWare Move It. These WarioWare games are generally pretty good, like party games, for when you have people over. And this just looked like another one of those. That's probably going to be good for family holidays and those types of like gatherings or having friends over on a Friday night or whatever.
Yeah.
And pre-orders started today, and it comes out November 3rd, so that's pretty soon. Again, they just had so many announcements for this year. And they had an interesting announcement about Nintendo Live in Seattle. It was like this family event, weekend event thing. I don't know that they've ever done something like this before, but it was, they said they were going to have gaming tournaments and like character meetups and live music performances, and it sounded kind of cool.
Yeah.
I missed what date it was though, but it's sometime later this year, I think, in the fall.
This is the first time of me being aware that competitive Mario Kart exists. I said, what?
Yeah.
I had no idea that was a thing. I was like, wait a minute, like competitive Mario Kart, how has that passed me? But it's a thing and they're doing it there, so that's pretty hype.
Yeah. You usually hear about Smash and Splatoon, but not Mario Karts.
No. It's such a shame. Like, I wish they were a little more open-minded about. I wish Nintendo was a little more open-minded about their competitive participation, for lack of a better way to put it. They're kind of like weird about that.
Yeah.
But it's good that they're doing something rather than nothing at all, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're
I don't know
pretty
some of
weird about it, but
I know some of the Smash tournaments, like some of those guys are really good, and those are kind of fun to watch. But the Splatoon ones too, which aren't as popular, but some of those guys, playing Splatoon, I'm like, dang, they are so good.
Geniuses.
Yeah, and like I mentioned to you before, like that game really does have a lot of strategy to it, and like you start listening to the announcers like talking through the competition as it's going on, and you're like, man, yeah, like the team has to strategize to try to take down the other team. I mean, you just have to, but they make it look easy. So after that, we got just like a thank you for buying Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I was out like running errands the day that Tears of the Kingdom came out, and one of those errands was to pick up my copy of Tears of the Kingdom that I had pre-ordered. But I spent some time like in the electronics section of a couple of different stores, and I was shocked how many people came in looking for the game on like the morning of the launch, and like asking employees like, do you guys have this? And they'd be like, yeah, it's down there. We got a whole, display of them. Just go down that way. So I think this game, I don't know if they've released numbers yet, but I think it probably sold extremely well. And so I thought it was cool that they just like, they didn't say a number, but they were just like, thanks for enjoying the game and for loving the franchise. And then they announced a couple of new amiibo of Zelda and Ganondorf, which looked really good. Like they looked like really high quality, very detailed amiibo. I'm not really sure why they continue to release amiibo, except for Smash Brothers, maybe.
I don't know.
But I know that there are people who still collect those, so that's cool. And then we got one more final announcement, and that was brand new, which I did a prediction video the day before.
Yeah, you did.
And I said one of the things I think they're going to do is they're going to drop a new 2D Mario game. And that's exactly what they did. It's called Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Not a huge fan of that title, but Super Mario Brothers Wonder. One thing that I didn't put in my video, but I had been thinking, and I should have put it in the video because I would have been spot on, was that they needed a new art style. They needed to do something new and fresh, and new music, new art style, new power-ups, because we kind of gotten the same thing over and over and over again for, I don't know, like the last 15 years. It's been very similar since the Wii, since new Super Mario Brothers Wii, or I guess even since the DS with new Super Mario Brothers DS. We've kind of gotten the same character models, just a little bit like iterations, but not like a brand new looking thing. Yeah. And it's just past time. And when you think about the Super Mario Brothers franchise, and you even think back to the original Nintendo, you know, we got 3 Super Mario Brothers games on the original NES, and they all looked different from one another, played different from one another. They were their own unique games. Even though they were a numbered series, they looked and felt very different, and they had different music, and we haven't gotten that from Nintendo. It's kind of, if they had come out with another new Super Mario Brothers game that looked just like the last one, this would not have, nobody would care. I don't think anybody would care. But this was something completely different. As soon as the music started playing, I was like, man, the music sounds so good. Like, it sounded, I couldn't quite put my finger on like how I wanted to describe it, but it felt more atmospheric. It felt more, it just felt bigger, like it was better produced, like it was better orchestrated, like they went all out, and really, it felt like it wasn't recorded in a little studio. It felt like it was recorded in a huge concert hall to me.
Yeah.
Like it felt different. And I'm excited about that because I think they needed that freshness. Did you see this trailer?
I did.
What'd you think of it?
I did. I like what you're saying about the music, because I guess they want to invoke that sense of wonder, right? They want to really make it, you know, like before I even saw the title, I got a feeling that I couldn't explain until I did see it, and I see where they're going with it.
Yeah.
They really just had fun with it. I love the little pipe moving like a caterpillar.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's so cool. I love the little flower that like kind of talks to you. And then right at the very end, when Mario became an elephant, he's like, "Oh, be careful!" And then you hit it, and he's like, "Oh, well, that takes care of it." You know, like, I love that. It's like that's what we needed right there. Like, little nice little commentary, like walking you along. It just feels like when I saw that game, I was like, man, they had fun making this game. They just said, dude, just go for it. What are you thinking? How do we mix this up? How do we have, again, don't fix what isn't broken, let's improve upon it. And I see that, and I'm here for it, and I love it. Yeah. Sign me up, man. And did they announce a date for that? Do you remember?
Yes, they did. October 20th.
This year?
Another late October game.
Good grief,
I mean, man. I was surprised at that date because we already got several games in that late October, early November window. I liked how, you know, we're used to seeing Mario kind of run, you know, 2D this way, but they had him like ever so slightly turned toward the camera. Yeah. Even though you're still running side to side, it just gave it a very different look. Some of the level designs and stuff, even though we didn't get a ton about it, I thought it all looked cool. I thought, like you said, that pipe looked cool. The elephant honestly was kind of cute. I know a lot of people really loved Cat Mario from Super Mario 3D World, and I think people will like this maybe just as much. I thought it was cool. So we'll see. It looked very different and very fresh. That's the word I kept coming back to was fresh. I thought it was interesting that they noted that you can play as Daisy, Princess Daisy.
No, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, they made a point to actually say that out loud, like acknowledge her existence. I know there's a lot of people that really like Princess Daisy and feel like she's underutilized, so I'm sure that they are rejoicing over that announcement. But coming October 20th, and 4-player co-op, you know, I think it's going to be a fun game. I really do. Yeah, I think it's exciting. The fresh restart that they needed to really make people interested in the franchise. And it's, you know, it's an easy, like making a 2D game is a lot more cost efficient than a 3D game. And again, I still think we're really close to the end of the Switch's life, even though we got a really good Direct today. I think they still want one more holiday with the system. And this is going to be a game that I think will sell consoles, but not cost them too much time or money to make. I think it makes total sense from a business perspective for them to release this at this point.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this game. Like, how can I complain? Like, I already plan on getting one this year.
Yeah.
And I mean, they knocked it out of the park. This is, in my opinion, the best conference of the year. I don't think it's disputable at this point.
It was very good. I mean, I really, when they announced it was going to be 40 minutes long, I was like, really? Like, do they actually have enough to say that they're going to fill up 40 minutes? Or is it going to be like 20 minutes talking about Pikmin 4 and 20 minutes talking about a few other things, you know? But no, they really kept it moving, and I thought it was a very interesting. In fact, I had a hard time keeping up with my notes sometimes because they were moving so fast.
Yeah.
But
that's how I liked it. It was no build up. I already know Nintendo's reputation, so I know the games they're showing me are going to work.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to be pessimistic with them. They make quality.
Yeah.
The game will work on launch. Like, may have a couple issues here and there, but nothing along the lines of like how I felt when I saw Starfield. No offense. Like, I know the game's going to be great. I'm sure it would be what Xbox needs, but it's just something about that Nintendo Direct. Just most of the games I saw spoke to me. Most of them.
Nintendo does have this reputation of we're not going to release it if it's not ready, and they will sit on stuff for a long time sometimes.
Yeah.
Even when it is ready, until they strategically want to release it. And so you're right. Their games you can pretty much always be confident are going to work, and they're not going to be broken on day one.
Yeah.
Which is good because there's too much of that going around.
Exactly.
So if you had to grade, you know, you said this was the conference of the year. If you had to grade the Direct, how would you C?
Yeah. It wasn't perfect. I'm just saying in comparison, because again, with PlayStation, I feel like it was carried by, like, to me, again, this is my opinion, like 2 or 3 games. Xbox, I know they have really good games and very ambitious games. I'm still a little skeptical. With this conference, there was just a fire hose of everything that you would want out of a Nintendo Direct. So to me, it's an A+, man. Like, again, I'm a huge fan of turn-based RPGs. You got Mario in the RPG. I'm getting that this year. I'm getting a nice recoated, fresh, awesome, top quality paint with Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Everything that I could have possibly asked for. And it's like, I got no complaints about this Direct. It didn't feel boring. Obviously there's some games, you know, you're skeptical about, but all in all, like,
pigeons. Just those pigeons.
Good grief. I can't even believe I'm saying that. Yeah, just thinking of the lineup that we saw, I say it was really good. And I do like their style. I like that rapid fire style because, again, some of the stuff feels a little long-winded.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's just me, though. I don't know.
I agree. I think it was one of their better Directs, and there have been some that were pretty bad. This one had the variety is kind of what I kept noticing. Like, sometimes some of them that we've gotten, it seems like every other game is a farming sim.
Yeah,
and I'm just not interested in that. This one just had a wide variety of different types of games.
Yeah,
I was really expecting them to not have much of anything for the rest of this year, and I thought they'd have one more good game for holiday, and then that would be it. Like, the Switch would basically be over until we got. Because I think that they announced years and years ago now Metroid Prime 4. Which we didn't get anything from today, and that's fine. I think that has been changed to a cross-gen game. I think it's going to be at the launch of the Switch 2 or whatever it is, personally.
Yeah.
I think it will also be on the Switch, but I think it's going to be one of those things where they say, here it is on the Switch, but look how much better it looks on our new system. That's what I think they're going to do with that. And
yeah, it almost like has to come with backwards compatibility, right? Like, there's no way they don't do that. Yeah.
Because they announced it in 2018.
Yeah, I'm all for it, though, because like you said, they got a little bit of outdated hardware, but they update it, make it backwards compatible. I don't think anyone's going to complain about that.
No, I don't either. Yeah, so I thought it was an A+ direct as well. Yeah, it was very good. Thanks for joining me again, man, for this discussion on Nintendo tonight.
Yeah,
I'm glad that
Nintendo's killing it. I'm happy to talk about them. It's great, and like you said, like I haven't really like kept up with every single one, but it's good to see that they did a good job with this one. I haven't gotten excited this much watching a presentation like that in a long time.
Where and when can people find you, man?
Oh yeah, so guys, you can catch me on all social media. You can mainly follow me on Twitter, where I'm always running my trap, and I'm usually streaming on YouTube Friday through Sundays starting 6 Eastern. We mainly play Fall Guys, but I got an upgraded rig, so you might actually catch me playing some of these games when they come out later this year. So okay. Yeah, definitely stay tuned. I'll be making content.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate your friendship. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Stay kind and encouraging out there. I'll catch you on the flippity flip.